Welcome to Channel's Book Club. I am Olakunle Kasumu. The literary world lost two iconic figures in the last few days. And as much as we are saddened by their passing, their inspiring lives and works have been celebrated globally. The first was Nigeria's own legendary fiction writer, Kelechi Amadi, who died on the 29th of June 2016 at the age of 82. Amadi's place in Nigeria's literary history will always remain important. Here's a brief look into his life.
Kelechi Amadi was an iconic writer, novelist, and playwright. He was born on the 12th of May 1934 in Alu near Port Harcourt in Rivers State, South Nigeria, and was known for works that explored the role of the supernatural in Nigerian rural life. Interestingly, despite his legendary accomplishments in literature, Amadi was educated at the University College Ibadan in physics and mathematics. The University College's famous English department and its student magazine, The Horn, encouraged a number of aspiring writers, including Wole Soyinka, Christopher Okigbo, John Pepper Clark, and Kole Omotosho. Amadi served in the Nigerian Army and worked for the Ministry of Information. In his only non-fiction book, Sunset in Biafra, which was published in 1973, he narrated his experiences as a soldier and civilian during the Biafran War.
We writers in Port Harcourt are very proud of this honor done to Port Harcourt. Anywhere writers in Nigeria gather, we can always lift our head and say we are from Port Harcourt.
His best-known works, however, make up his historical trilogy about traditional life in rural Nigeria: The Concubine, published in 1966, The Great Ponds, published in 1969, and The Slave, published in 1978. His other works include Isiburu, published in 1973, which is about a champion wrestler who is ultimately defeated by the supernatural power of his enemy, and of course, Pepper Soup and The Road to Ibadan, published in 1977. Kelechi wrote with brilliant artistry, boldness, and impressive descriptive skills.
The two old men joined the others and conversation flowed on again. Presently, one woman brought in a calabash of carefully pounded yam. Her daughter, Ahurole, brought in another. She gave a general greeting and walked out quickly. She was pretty. There was no doubt there. As for her slimness, that would be an old story after her first child. Her waist was heavily bedecked with large beads and a beautiful new wrapper just failed to cover her knees. She also had beads at the knees and around her neck. Her little bare body showed disappearing marks of indigo which her mother had put on her some 8 days before. Her breast stood firm and defiant. The Onjongo hairstyle became her wail. When she went out, the men avoided looking at each other. No one wanted to betray his admiration. There was silence for a time.
From 1984 to 1987, Kelechi Amadi was writer-in-residence and dean of the Faculty of Arts at College of Education in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, and in 1989 to 1990, he served as Commissioner of Lands and Housing in the state. Amadi was awarded in 1973 the International Writers Program Grant, and in 1992, he received the Rivers State Silver Jubilee Merit Award. He married Dora Ohale in 1957, and they had 8 children.
Another iconic figure, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, Elie Wiesel, died on the 2nd of July 2016.
That the world has learned, I am not so sure.
Holocaust survivor and Nobel Peace Prize winning author Elie Wiesel died at the age of 87. Wiesel survived World War II Nazi concentration camps, and after liberation, he went to France, then Israel, and the United States, where he advocated on behalf of victims of hate and persecution around the world.
As a teacher, I always believe in questions. The question is, will the world ever learn?
Wiesel wrote about his tragic World War II experiences in his most famous book titled Night. The book was written in 1960, and it mainly tells the story of Elie Wiesel and his father in Nazi German concentration camps between 1944 and 1945, at the height of the Holocaust toward the end of the Second World War. In just over 100 pages, Wiesel writes about his increasing disgust with humanity and the perversion of values that uphold life. Goodreads describes Night as a penetrating book that awakens the shocking memory of evil at its absolute and carries with it the unforgettable message that the horrors of the Second World War must never be allowed to happen again.
Nobody would have imagined that such a crime could be conceived and implemented in a human mind. That is why, by the way, some people didn't believe it even though it happened in their lifetime, even while it happened. So therefore, wherever and whenever a project even similar or close to similar to that project that Hitler had for the Jews and some other people, we must immediately do whatever we can to stop it.
50 years after the book's publication, it has been translated into 30 languages and now ranked as one of the bedrocks of Holocaust literature. It remains unclear how much of the book is memoir.
That anyone who listens to a witness becomes a witness. So those who hear us, those who read us, those who learn something from us, they will continue to bear witness for us.
The Norwegian committee that awarded the Nobel Prize to Wiesel called him a messenger to mankind. The world has continued to mourn the passing of the exceptional author and humanitarian. Now, the story you will find in this book, titled A Raging River, will shock and perhaps move you to tears. It's the story of a Nigerian woman who was married off at age 17 into a marriage that turned out to be a 14-year nightmare for her. She was abused, beaten constantly, locked up, raped and assaulted in more ways than one. The author, Amara Van Lare, says the book is not fiction. It's her true life story. We start to review her book and issues around its theme.
My name is Amara Van Lare. Amara Blessing Van Lare. I'm a certified international protocol and etiquette consultant and relationship counselor. I'm a mother of 4 children and a wife, the most important job on earth for me. I was born in Ihala local government, Ibolisuzo. It's a small village in the east, Ihala local government of Anambra State. And I'm just a typical village girl. I went to a community primary school, went to a community secondary school. I grew up in the village, everything about me. Coming to Lagos was when I got married. That was my first time in Lagos at the age of 17 plus. I am the author. I've authored 2 other books before now, and this is my new book, A Raging River. It's about the storms in the life of a young African woman. I decided to write this book way back in 2011, after the launch of my first 2 books. But it was tough. It wasn't easy, making up my mind to just talk about my life, tell people everything about me.